You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
I said, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. I said, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. We're gonna drink a fine whiskey and smoke a really fine cigar.
It is time for happy hour. It is the Man Cave Happy Hour. Whiskey, cigars, spirits, the stories that go along with it. I'm Jamie Flanagan.
I am Matt Fox.
Matt Fox, you know me. You know me. You know I'm a sports guy.
You are?
No, I'm not. I know nothing about sports. But here's what I do know, right? Because I became a hockey dad. And then I became something of a hockey fan, and out of the major sports in Metro Detroit, that's hockey's always kind of been the one that I knew a little bit about. And you know what they say about a little bit of knowledge? Very dangerous.
Just a little bit of knowledge can make you extremely dangerous.
That's it. But the guy we're getting to talk to tonight, actually, I'm like, hey, I knew this guy. I knew this guy, right? So it's because he's pretty darn well known. And so people know about Ed Belfour, and they know about hockey, and they know Stanley Cups, and they know Olympic gold, and they know, well, this I didn't know, Hockey Hall of Fame.
Yes.
That is something that I learned. I did not know he was in the Hockey Hall of Fame. And because you always think of like the Hall of Fame, you think, like the turn of the century and the previous one, and just the old, and it's like, oh, holy crap, he's in the Hockey Hall of Fame. And it's an amazing privilege for us today to be able to talk to him because Ed Belfour has launched a spirit company. Ed, welcome to Man Cave.
Welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour, Ed.
Hey, Jamie and Matt, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
So everybody knows about hockey and Ed Belfour. I mean, because you are just one of the staples in the Hall of Fame, and rightfully so. Mm-hmm. And but what people don't know is about the Spirit Company, and people are finding out about it.
Yeah, well, my son and my daughter and I, we started this venture about 7 years ago. And it just started with us talking about, what Dane and I wanted to do. My son was also a goalie, those of you who don't know. And he was actually born in Saginaw, Michigan, when I played there in the minors for the Saginaw Hawks.
All right, on.
Farm team. So got a lot of good memories and ties to Michigan, and always remember those days in Detroit for sure. But 7 years ago we got together and we wanted to do something together as a family, and we started looking into the whiskey business, and we ordered a small still. And we were thinking about just doing it small time, and we were going to start off with just a little tiny still, and make it for friends and family, and quickly learned, you had to have a license to do all this stuff. And, one thing led to another. And, we went down the path and learning how to get the licensing. And that actually takes a lot. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of ins and outs, and each state has its own set of rules. And, the next thing you know, we have 2,800 barrels of whiskey aging. So
holy smokes.
But once you start, you can't stop, right?
Right. Yeah, it's an exciting business to be in. We have a team. There's 8 of us. Once you retire and leave the game, there's that void that you miss the guys, you miss being on the road, you miss the excitement of playing the games, and the fans screaming. You miss all that stuff, and it's hard to find something to replace that. So for Dane and I, being back on a team, and we have our schedule, we work every day hard at our business, and we get together with our team, and it's like old times, except we're making whiskey. So a little different. We don't get to compete on the ice, but we put our spirits in competitions, and we take great pride in the whiskey that we make and put in our bottle and put our name on it.
Because it's not a quick thing. You said, you've been at this for 7 years, and there's a few ways of getting into whiskey. Because there's some people that is like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to source it. I'm going to find a blend that I like. We're going to get that, and then we're going to try to distill something that is like what I like. Or you can start working, and in maybe 3 to 4 years have a product that you have no idea what it's you got some idea what it's going to be like, but you can't be absolutely sure. That's quite a challenge to take on. What were you looking for in your blend when you launched it 7 years ago? What was your idea? What were you thinking? What profile were you looking for?
Yeah. So, for us, we have a lot of pride and we're very hands-on. I was that way with all my equipment, helped design all my equipment, designed the skate blade. Those, details that I, really paid attention to. And I think it helped me be a better goalie and helped my career, be as long as it was, 18 plus years.
Wow.
And, we've tried to apply those lessons that we learned in our hockey careers to our whiskey business. And we were very hands-on. We wanted to learn everything about the business, how to make the juice, the mash bills, the wood selection, the toasting and charring.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of celebrities getting into the business back when we first started, and there's still more. But I didn't want to be one of those celebrities that just slapped their name on a bulk spirit that we didn't know anything about or didn't know anything about the business. And, that's where, like we've been at this for 7 years. We've been learning our trade. I tell everybody my first 3 years with the Blackhawks, they sent me to the minors. Of course, I didn't want to be in the minors. I want to be with the Blackhawks in the NHL. That was my dream.
Mm-hmm.
And I hated being in the minors, but it was the best thing for me when I look back at my career, because in those 3 years I was in the minors, I learned about the professional game, which was much different than the college game, the junior game.
Yeah.
I learned about myself. And these are the lessons that you have to learn, to be able to play, at a high level for, 10, 20 years in the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
And I look back on those 3 years in the minors. Sure, I hated it. But when I got my chance to play in Chicago, I made the best of it because I didn't want to go back to the minors. And I thought I was ready. I learned those lessons. And, I got the call up and, I played, I think it was 74 out of 82 games my rookie year. So that was something I'll never forget. And like I said, Dane and I try to apply those lessons that we learned to our whiskey business. We've only been on the shelves for a year and a half. And we did a lot of research and development with our whiskeys, trial and errors. We researched the mash bills. We tried the different flavor profiles and what we wanted in our bottle. We believe that, the products that we put in our bottle is very easy and smooth to drink. We wanted everyone to enjoy our spirits. And, we've met a lot of people who have told us, yeah, we don't really like whiskey. I had a bad experience with it. It tastes too strong. It's awful, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, yeah, I had that same experience a couple times too.
Sure.
And, I said, just give ours a chance, try a sip of it. And if you don't like it, you're not going to offend me, to each his own. And 9 times out of 10, people are like, wow, I didn't realize it was going to taste that smooth.
Oh, excellent. Okay, you guys you said you've been on the shelves for about a year and a half now, and you were in Texas and Illinois to start, and you're still expanding into other states at this point. And I believe you just launched in Michigan.
Yeah, your crew's here now, doing it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got 3 groups there in Michigan right now, traveling. Dane's there right now.
Excellent.
And otherwise he'd be on the podcast here with us. But yeah, they're out meeting folks and introducing our whiskey to the Michigan market, and we're so excited about that. And we've been well received so far. I've heard that our first, I think the first order was 250 cases has already been sold.
Wow,
and they're working on the next order already. So hats off to Michigan, and thank you so much.
There are some whiskey advocates. There are some whiskey fanatics here in Michigan, without a doubt. So you'll do well. So, and that's something we've talked to a few people launching brands, and it's commonly agreed upon. You'll sell a bottle. You'll sell a bottle. The trick is selling that second and third one to somebody. And I'm really anxious to dive into these. Give them a try because I've behaved myself. Ed, you were so kind. You sent us some magnificent samples, and I appreciate that. And your team did. I don't know if they're in trouble now or not, but they, I've behaved myself, and I haven't tried it yet. I wanted to wait and do it with you. So we have the rye. And then
somebody's been sneaking some on you there. I see.
Yeah. Actually, well, we shared.
That was me earlier. I actually stole some from him so I could.
We're not together. I'm dealing with a little bit of residual. That's why I keep muting my mic and taking sips of water because I'm dealing with residual coughing fits. I apologize. And but yeah, so we had to split this up a little bit. But I haven't tried it yet. So I was thinking, what would you recommend, Ed? Would you recommend going with the whiskey first? Or the rye first?
You want to try the bourbon first. It's a 92 proof. So whenever we do tastings, we always start with the lowest proof and work our way up.
Yeah. So what's our mash bill on the? So what's in here? What's the mash bill, and what's this compared to what you first laid down 7 years ago?
Yeah. So that is a 60-30-10 wheated mash bill.
And you guys did something different with the mash bill, and you went the opposite direction than most with the mash bill. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think the majority of the bourbons out there are rye based. Mm-hmm. Wheated bourbons take a little longer to age and to taste better at a younger age. It's easier, I believe, to use rye, and we do have. Some of our bourbons do have rye. We're coming out with hopefully our first rye-based bourbon in the next couple of years here. We've been working on it behind the scenes diligently. Like what you're tasting there, is the better part of probably a year's development where we go back and forth with different barrels because we use a lot of different cooperages. And that particular product is finished with Texas pecan wood, which is a very interesting product. There's a lot of pecan here in Texas. And so we harvested some Texas pecan wood. The inspiration was we had a large pecan tree on our ranch. It was probably a 500-year-old plus tree.
Wow.
And we met a gentleman at Black Swan, Russ Karsh, who he was introducing us to a whole bunch of different bourbons that had been finished with different woods. And he said, Ed, you might want to try bourbon try finishing the bourbon with pecan.
Right.
We tried some of the other ones he had, but we really did enjoy the pecan finished. So we went down the road of doing the research and development with a bunch of different types of barrels, toasting and char levels with different toast and levels with the pecan wood. And what you do is you age about 150 inches of pecan wood in the barrel for the last 2 months. And it just adds a really uniqueness to the bourbon. I think it helps bring the bourbon along quicker. This particular product that you're sipping on is 18 months.
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of people from Kentucky who are, they drink bourbon all the time. And, we didn't tell them the age of our product in the beginning. And they were like, is this 6, 7, 8 years old? And we're like, no, it's 18 months. And they can't believe it. So, we've had quite a few compliments on that. And we're very proud of that particular product. It has a nice smokiness to it.
Yeah.
It's got a nice, I've heard vanilla bomb come out of quite a few people's mouths. Yeah. And it has a little bit of a jalapeno finish. If you let it wait, just the long finish on it has a little bit of spice to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like to call that warmth because it's just as it coats the back of your throat, it lingers and it sticks around in a fantastic way. I've taken one sip and that's all I have tried so far, and I got like red cinnamon almost off of it right away.
See, on the nose,
like on a red hot on that first. It's like a red hot little candy is what I got.
Okay.
That taste.
See, I was getting
really
that honey on the nose. I was getting the honey and the nut. Yeah. I could smell that nicely, and then the bourbon aromas, and then the taste, the texture, the viscosity, buttery, silky, a little silky there towards the middle back of the tongue, which is kind of nice right now. I'm trying to coat this cough.
There you go.
Thank you, Ed. So much for the cough syrup. I've switched.
Grandma's cough syrup with a little whiskey in it.
So, Ed, tell me a little bit about your son, Dane. There's a process to learning how to make and create and distill whiskey. What was some of the things that the two of you went through together, and in your research and development of Belfour Spirits?
Yeah, so we went to school in Canada in Kelowna, BC, called the Canadian University Institute of Distilling, and we spent a week there learning about the processes and hands-on distilling and mashing and learning about the different grains and the different products that you can make on the pot stills that they had there. Just a little bit about everything, and it was a great introductory course for us. After that, Dane ended up doing a 6-month internship at Woody Creek Distillery in Basalt, Colorado.
Nice.
Great people there, Mark Kleckner and Dave Matthews, and they just took Dane under their wing and really helped him, and he worked there every day, and at night he coached hockey, so it was a perfect fit for him.
Fantastic.
And at the end of it, part of what we got to do there was we made our first 12 barrels of whiskey, and it was a rye. It's our rye, which is our, this represents our first 12 barrels, the limited edition straight rye whiskey.
Ooh.
And so nice. He made that himself, hands-on. We did the research on the mash bill before that. We came up with a 70-20-10 rye mash bill, 20% corn, 10% malted barley, which we wanted a very well-balanced rye whiskey. I grew up with rye whiskey, obviously, in Canada, and a lot of those ryes are, 95, 100% rye and can be pretty strong and spicy and harsh at times. Sure. We wanted our rye to be very smooth and balanced. And I remember the day that Dane was filling the last barrel with the white dog. He was sipping on the white dog and he was crying. He was so excited and he was so emotional about it. He was like, "Dad, oh my gosh, the white dog is just amazing. It's so floral. It's so easy to taste, drink, and it's amazing." And I wasn't there, but I got to taste it 6 months later, and he was right. It was amazing at 6 months of age, which a lot of ryes can do that. They can taste great at an early age. We've been finding. So Dane's very hands-on, very detailed. Has a passion for everything he does. From there, we went to the Moonshine University in Louisville, Kentucky. We spent another week there. That was a whole new level of learning. We learned all about distributorships, packaging, marketing. We learned more about yeast, distilling. It was a great place for us to go, and we met some great people in the industry. Peggy No Stevens, Don Rogers, Don Hardwick, and Randy Allender. They've all helped us get our start in this business. Randy Allender still works with us, and Don Hardwick still works with us. Peggy checks in with us every once in a while, see how we're doing, and so does Don. So we're so thankful for the people there at Moonshine University in Louisville, Kentucky, and all the folks that have helped us. Without them, it would have been a tough road for sure.
Yeah.
And you're going to make mistakes, which, happens in every field. I've made a lot of mistakes in hockey, of course, but you learn from your mistakes and you get better.
Hey, when you grow up with polar bears in Manitoba, you can make a mistake. Just don't make that one mistake in Manitoba.
The wilds of
Fortunately,
Manitoba.
I was quite a bit south from the polar bears.
All right, fair enough.
All right. So, just enjoying this. It's interesting how the whiskey business, how the camaraderie between different distillers, and they see that there's enough room in the market for everybody, and nobody's trying to. I mean, everybody's trying to outdo each other and to perform well and to provide a great product, and outdo each other in that sense. But I don't in our travels so far, I haven't seen anybody really trying to do anybody in,
Right.
No, you're exactly right. I remember, when Dane and I started going around to different distilleries and visiting with, the owners. Quentin Witherspoon, Witherspoon Spirits here in Texas. He was such a nice guy. He brought us in, showed us everything. He even offered, for us to come in and do an internship with him and learn everything about it. Dan Garrison here in Texas, another nice fellow, made a lot of waves for everybody here in Texas, with all the laws and stuff. Every state has different laws when it comes to distilling. And, he really did a fantastic job of promoting the business, and great gentleman to talk to. And they're all like that. They go out of their way to take a moment to speak with you and speak about, their products, mm-hmm. and give you a little advice. And we're so thankful for all of them.
Fantastic. So help me understand, if you would, Ed. I know you guys, you're continuing to grow, you're continuing to distill, but everyone, it seems most whiskey, bourbon companies, spirit companies want to make themselves get into Kentucky in some way, shape, or form. I believe there were maybe 2 undisclosed places you were looking at in Kentucky on the Bourbon Trail. Are you still a couple of years out from all of that?
Yeah, so our original plan was to be in Texas. And, with our consultants being from Kentucky, they were educating us on how beneficial it would be to start in Kentucky. So we did research 3 different cities in Kentucky. Mm-hmm. We did go down that road, and the folks there in Kentucky are awesome to work with. They roll out the red carpet. They understand the business. They want, your distillery in their town. They recognize the revenues that are going to be created from a distillery.
Sure.
And everyone supports that industry in Kentucky. So we really wanted to be there. Then COVID hit. The state shut down.
What's that? What's going on? I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the state shut down, and we really had to rethink things because, they're still pretty much shut down there. And,
right.
When you open a distillery, you rely heavily on tourism. You need that foot traffic. You need people coming to do tastings and buy your merchandise and obviously buy your whiskey. Texas here, on the other hand, didn't quite shut down like near as much as any other states.
Sure.
And so we had to rethink this, and it's looking like we're going to be back here in Texas now, which is where we always wanted to be anyway. And there's been some great Texas whiskeys, since Dan Garrison, really, made the waves for us here in Texas. Iron Root, did a great job with their bourbon here last year and won World Bourbon of the Year. And that's, that was a great feather in Texas cap here. So, we went to visit them before they won their award, and they had a family business and really, cared about their every detail that they did at their facility there. And that's the way we want to do things. So we're rethinking, and we're most likely going to end up here in Texas.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing, because that's a big misnomer that a lot of folks think. You can make bourbon whiskey anywhere in the United States. It always doesn't have to always be in Kentucky. So, people from around the country are doing their own thing. and which I think is brilliant because you're going to get different profiles from different areas of the country anyways. So in Texas with the climate there, I would imagine that it would actually mature even quicker because of the climate in Texas, right?
I think it can. We haven't done that yet because we've been contracting with Southern Distilling. They're in Statesville, North Carolina. Pete and Vienna Barger. They've been great to work with. They let us come in and work the equipment, do our blends, do our proofing down, do our tastings there. They're great to work with, and our loss, our angel shares there is pretty normal to what Kentucky would be.
Sure.
But I've heard there's been as much as 30 to 50% here in Texas. So you got to be kind of careful how you age here in Texas is what I've learned from other folks. We're looking at different ways to age our whiskey here in Texas so we don't lose as much angel shares. And we're hoping that we can get that, to 20% or better is our hope. But we'll see. We haven't built our distillery yet here. We're hoping that we can announce that sometime here in the next 3 months or 4 months, and then open the doors within the next year and a half. That's our goal.
Excellent. No, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Because I really enjoy watching companies grow from the ground up. And what you've done over the past 7 years, you've done your homework, you've done your due diligence, and now it's time to reap those benefits. But you always want to tweak a little bit every once in a while, right?
That's exactly it. Like I always go back to my hockey career. After winning Rookie of the Year in 90, 91, and winning all those awards, the Vezina, the Jennings, and being nominated for the MVP. I mean, that can go to your head pretty quickly and be like, like I'm the best and I don't have to change anything and it's like everything's going to be easy. And that's not the case. You have to improve every day, improve every year. You have to look at yourself and say, how can I be better? You watch tape, you watch the goals against, you watch what you do well, and you watch other guys and see what they're doing well. And you have to evolve and get better. Your equipment has to evolve and get better. And that's what I did throughout my career. And sometimes it didn't work. It take a few steps back and, then you reassess and like, okay, I changed this. Let's go back to what it worked. And then, go from there again and try something else. And I always did that. And it always seemed to, over the years, I got better and better. And I think actually at the end of my career, playing in Florida, I had played 28 games in a row, which I don't think I had done that since I was a rookie. My game was I think right at the top between playing in Toronto, Dallas, Toronto, and Florida. My game got better every year. And, if the body could have held up, I'd probably still be playing. But unfortunately, the back and the knees and stuff like that, they just start giving away.
That goal, man, that is people say, oh, they just stand there. What's the big deal? That is a rough place to be, man.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
So I laid this down.
Go ahead, James.
I laid this down over some ice. I took the whiskey, the pecan, the bourbon whiskey.
That's the way I like to drink our pecan bourbon is with a block of ice.
And holy smokes, the pecan really comes out, and that buttery, that texture, because I was afraid that the ice would tear down the viscosity a little bit, but it's still hanging in there. But the pecan really comes out when I opened it up with the ice. It should have gotten a little bit more smoky too.
What do you think, Jamie? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
See, Ed, I'm somewhat of a purist. I really enjoy, drinking it neat. And that's really, I will drink whiskey with a few blocks of ice or a few cubes of ice. And if I put a big block in, it's a treat. But typically I am a neat type of a bourbon drinker because I really enjoy that upfront feeling when I'm drinking bourbon.
I
totally agree.
Yeah.
We still got a lot to talk about. We haven't even touched the rye yet.
No, we haven't.
Yeah. So what's the mash bill on the rye? We got to dive into this next.
say our ryes are all 70, 20, 10. And that's the good thing is it's an awesome mash bill. It's very balanced, very smooth, but none of our ryes taste exactly like the other. And that's the thing that we take pride in. I've done quite a few bourbon tours and whiskey tours in Kentucky, and sometimes you wonder, like, you try, 4 or 5 different of their different products, and you're like, oh, that kind of tastes the same as the last one. Right. And I found that a few times, and I'm thinking, why is it that it wouldn't be different? I don't know all the answers yet, but we wanted to make sure that each one of our products tastes different from the other one. We take every one of our products and we'll proof down in 1 point increments and even to the half point at some of our products to find the sweet spot.
Wow.
And that's why you have a 92 on the bourbon, a 94 on our rye. Our limited edition straight rye whiskey is 100 proof. We're going to be coming out with our first straight bourbon product here soon. It's our small batch. Very proud of that. And it'll be hitting the market here in May. It's 100.5 proof. Okay. And it's also a wheated mash bill, but it tastes, quite different than our pecan-finished bourbon.
No, I gotta share with you, Ed, on the rye, and sorry to interrupt, but I'm a big candy guy as well. I like my strawberry licorice and my Twizzlers. That strawberry licorice Twizzler feel hit me almost immediately on the nose of the rye. It's very, very sweet on the nose for a rye, and you typically will get that on a rye. I'm curious what the palate's going to do, but just on the nose, it's beautiful. It just smells
you get a little floral to it also.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was when Dane called me. He was sipping on the White Dog. He was just like, Dad, it's so floral. It's so amazing. Like, he was just, just so excited about it.
I when I sniffed this, I was excited. I'm like, oh, this is not what I was expecting. Yeah. I would go more on the candy. If I was trying to put a candy in it, a chocolate. Caramely, like maybe even a salted caramel, like those Sanders salted caramel squares as the smell.
Every so often we'll go to the grocery store, we'll get a bunch of bananas, and then you end up not eating a few of them, and they end up browning a little bit, and you have that smell in your kitchen. And as I continue to nose, I'm getting a little bit of that brown banana feel.
Oh, really?
As well. Yeah.
See, I'm not a banana guy. I'm not falling for a banana in my tailpipe. I'm not. I'm not falling. All right,
we have a couple of those brown bananas in the kitchen right now, and that's just kind of reminiscent. But that's what I kind of thought about as I nose this. But I'm eager to dive in. So
so what you have there is this 94 proof now, and you'll definitely get those caramels and brown sugars, the floral. Little bit of cinnamon. There's a lot of. It has a lot of character, and it's for a rye. It's very easy and smooth to drink.
It is. After my first go round, wow, that just hits me in a very nice way. And there's really, and I hate the word burn. I like the word. I like that warmth, and there's really not there. There's a little bit of warmth, but it's not bite your face off warmth at the same time.
Right. It's it's not an ethanol. I'm not really getting. I'm not getting a harsh ethanol at all. Because because I thought they were older than they were, and when you said how young it was, I was like, okay, well, I'm waiting for the ethanol afterward, and I'm not. It's not showing up for me. Even when that's why I was curious, because sometimes those younger ones, when you put it on the ice, not so much. But this, like I said, the viscosity and everything held up on that, and this is holding up. This is nice. Yeah.
So Ed, do you lean more towards the bourbon side or the rye side? Where does your palate lie personally when you're tasting something for the first time?
Well, I like I said, grew up with rye.
Yeah.
So both Dane and I are rye guys at heart. We have 3 different ryes on the market. We love our ryes. But I'm learning that there are some bourbons that I really love. And that's why we've been a little bit slow to the market with our other bourbons, because I want to make sure they're exactly the way we want them or where I want them to be. And Dane has a little different palate for the bourbon than I do.
Sure.
So we've been working together on creating the bourbon that we both love and that we both want to put out to market. And our small batch that's coming out, we worked really hard and diligently on getting that right. And I think we got it. It's a 3-year-old bourbon. And, I think it's really, really easy and smooth to drink. It's got some complexity to it. It's one of those ones, whenever we do these tastings together, like Dane, okay, try this one. I'll put like 4 different ones in front of them, and I won't tell them which ones they are. And I just try them all. Tell me what you think of each one. And in the end, I always say to them, which one would you want to drink all night long? Which one would you want to sip on all night long and smoke a stogie with, sit around with your buddies and just have a good time with good conversation, get some laughs in there, and that's what we always try to put in our bottle. And it took a while to get there for the small batch, but I think we're there now.
Excellent. And Belfour Spirits, it's really a family oriented company. Your daughter, your son, yourself, I'm sure a few other folks. And so what was it that what brings you all together family wise when you're talking about your spirits?
Well, I'd have to go back to hockey for sure. I mean, hockey's all about family and, that social aspect. I remember as a rookie, going back to Winnipeg, I grew up in Carmen, only an hour from Winnipeg, playing the Jets. And, back then, our recovery drink was a 24-pack of Labatt's Blue and a bottle of Crown Royal on the table after the game. So, we always had our pops and ever since I put on, a junior jersey and played for the Winkler Flyers, there was all kinds of beer drinking going on. And,
sure.
And hockey players love to be social. We love to be out and meeting people and having a good time. And our family is Irish, and that's what we're all about. It's just having a great time, and that's what our bottles designed after. It's designed after the Roaring 20s.
Yes.
Very Gatsby like.
Yes.
Very Art Deco. So it fits well with our art, our family. We love to have a good time and celebrate, everything we can, So that's where it goes back to is definitely the hockey.
Yeah. Now, Ed, you and Jamie are in absolute lockstep, because when we received your samples, we actually did a small unboxing little episode on Facebook. And one of the things that Jamie said was, what does this bottle remind you of? And, I'm looking at it, he goes, Gatsby. Because of the Art Deco feel of the bottle itself, the packaging is amazing. The bottle is, you can actually feel the bottle.
Yeah.
I had a note there because you were talking about Moonshine University, and you said one of the things that you dove into, which surprised me at a Moonshine University, was about packaging and marketing. Because when I think moonshine, I think how Matt did it earlier, because he came over with a couple mason jars and stole samples.
He's not kidding.
And so we are a classy bunch, Ed.
That's awesome.
So I was thinking Moonshine University is, so is that someplace would spawn some of these ideas of that the packaging was important?
Yeah, for sure. They taught us everything about the business, from the mash bills again to the yeast, how important the yeasts are, to the water, all the things that go into making a great product. the barrel selection, the toasting and the charring, to the relationships that you're going to create through the beginning till you get your distillery up and running, the distributors that you're going to make your deals with, and your packaging. Of course, the marketing comes in play with the packaging, the color choices you use, the textures you use, the look you use. When people are walking down the liquor store aisle and they're looking at, thousands of choices, you have to set yourself apart, and that's what we try to do. I tell everybody that's like version 100. I'm a perfectionist, and I actually, not a lot of people know this about me. I have an art background, so I wanted this perfect. We worked hard at that bottle and the design, and Peggy No Stevens really helped us out tremendously with that, and Don Hardwick. The eagle there, I want to tell you a story about that.
Yeah, please.
So that's the latest version of the Belfour Eagle, and it's on my shirt here too. So you'll see it all. It's everywhere in our packaging.
Yeah, it's etched into the cap as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
It is.
Because you were known as Eddie the Eagle. You started in Chicago. You had that double eagle on your mask, right?
Correct. So after we won the Cup in '99 with the Dallas Stars, a good friend of mine, Jeff Friesen, who ran Carmen Custom there in Freeland, Michigan. I had a car shop there for the better part of 15 years, and we used to build street rods and muscle cars. We used to do the Woodford cruise there. We loved being part of all the Michigan car events, and Jeff's daughter was just born then. We have a picture of her in the Cup, Abby Friesen, in '99, and now she's 20 years old, and she helped design this eagle, and did all the artwork for it. So we're very proud of Jeff Friesen and Abby Friesen for their contribution to the Belfour Spirits team.
And that's the thing about the Man Cave Happy Hour, Ed, is that this is the information that folks really may not understand or know about it, about the heritage of the bourbon itself and where things came from. And that's what the Man Cave is all about, to learn about why and how. And because the product is fantastic, but I love what it means inside the bottle and where it came from. So thank you for that.
Yeah,
you bet.
I love that it's a family affair.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we hope that it'll be that way for hundreds of years. That was one of the things that we talked about as a family when we first started this. Like I had a fantastic NHL hockey career that lasted close to 20 years, and met so many wonderful people, and lived a dream, and many dreams come true, and I'm so thankful to all the people that helped me get there. And that's led to this next journey, this next dream come true of starting a family business with my kids and producing some great spirits. And, that can be handed down from generation to generation, and who knows how many years it can go on for. And the Belfour name will last for hundreds of years possibly. So we're very excited about Belfour Spirits and our family business, and take great pride in it. And Dane and I are just chomping at the bit to get our distillery put up.
Absolutely.
It's like our place. We're like, back when we were playing, we always wanted him and I joked about this. I actually did have a cot at the arena. You'd sleep at the arena because you were there so much.
Right.
And we joke about that, but at our distillery, we were like, now we can build a nice room for us to stay at the distillery 24/7.
See, that's the type of, that is why you're in the Hockey Hall of Fame, because you give 100%. You need to do that, and you just have that from my perception of our long lasting relationship of 40 minutes here. But it's just from what I know of you, it's just that you don't get in the Hockey Hall of Fame unless you got that 110%. I'm giving it my all. And with the bourbon, it's very nice. It's done well from the packaging, the juice inside, the stories behind it. It's just all done really, really well. I can see this being an amazing legacy for the family. I applaud that.
Jamie, thank you for saying the word legacy. There aren't many people in the world that can say I've left behind 2 legacies.
Yeah,
right? Your Hall of Fame, your hockey career, Ed, it was an amazing feat of whatever you want to call it. I can't play hockey, I can't even skate, but what you did for your career is just fantastic. You left a legacy there, and then to be able to leave a second legacy,
that's awesome.
With Belfour Spirits, thank you for what you do.
That's we're appreciating the product on the consumer end. So looking at your social media, looking at FaceSpace, and some of the other social media, I see like cigars popping up in some of the imagery. Are you a cigar smoker, Ed?
I am not a cigar smoker on a regular basis, but I do enjoy having a cigar once in a while with bourbon.
That's like us.
That's like us.
And we are definitely planning on having a cigar space at our distillery.
Nice.
We realize how important it is to that combination. And, Dane enjoys smoking a cigar with bourbon, and some of my friends do. So, I think we'll enjoy that social atmosphere at Belfour Spirits with some friends of ours and meet and greets that we're going to have.
Yeah.
And we'll do it the same way. We'll definitely have high-end cigars, and I'm just starting to learn about that whole industry, which is pretty unique.
Yeah, so that's exactly.
Jamie and I have been at. No, sorry, Jamie.
No, that's exactly why we do the Man Cave, is because we don't know. We don't know. We're learning about bourbons. We call in people who have done their homework. Unlike us, we're just like, hey, can we try that? and so we turn to people who have done their homework and to the master distillers and the people that are experts in the craft to learn about it. And the same thing with cigars. Matt and I, we're occasional cigar smokers. And I had noticed that. I didn't know if you were an aficionado on it, and because we're not either. And I was going to say, so I'm not going to put you on the spot and say, what are you going to pair up, and what's the wrapper, and what's the filler, and I don't know. So it's because we don't know. You could say anything, Ed, and we'd go, oh, that's fascinating, that's wonderful. But it is nice. It is fun to pair them up. And to do that, I like that you're going to have that at the distillery. If you make your way to Metro Detroit, I'm literally a mile off of Woodward for the cruise. If you want to come hang out, we got an amazing deck, and we can do cigars on the deck, and then go check out the cruise. And we're connected with several of like the really cool cigar bars in town. So if you wanted to do a cigar event, we'd love to help you host it here and do that for sure.
Well, I miss Michigan, and like I was telling you, Michigan has a special place in our heart. I was telling you, I got sent to the minors back in '87, and I spent 2 years there in Saginaw, Michigan, with the Saginaw Hawks. So that's where I started my career. Made a lot of great friends there. Bob Packer's one of our good friends he still lives in the area there, and he drove me to my first NHL game, which just happened to be at the Joe Louis Arena. So the Joe Louis has, big spot in my heart. Not only did I play my first NHL game there, but won the NCAA championship there with the Fighting Sioux. We played Michigan State in the finals in 86, 87.
Jeez.
And so those are some great things that are in my memory bank. Dane was born in Saginaw, Michigan. We had the car shop there. We had a lot of great times in Michigan, and a lot of friends still live there. So, hi to everybody there. And I can't wait to get back to Michigan to sip on some whiskey with you guys.
I'm actually heading to Saginaw tomorrow, as a matter of fact, that you say that, for my daily 9 to 5. I actually have a lot of clients out in the Saginaw market. So
Saginaw.
I'll say hi to everybody for you.
Saginaw was a cool little town. It's had its since then it's had its ups and downs. It's actually kind of a little bit of a down. But Saginaw, there was this place, because Matt and I, we have like 7 different lives. I teach high school. He's a banker, but we both DJ weddings on the side for fun. It's how I paid my way through college. And
I'm the pilots, I'm the co-pilots, I'm the steward.
But back then, there was I DJ'd a couple of parties up in Saginaw. There's this cool little bed and breakfast called the Montague Inn up in Saginaw. It was this gorgeous little bed and breakfast place they did events in, and we'd go up there. And I loved going up to Saginaw because it was a cool little town. There was some great historical things in that city. It is a gem in Michigan. There's a lot of things in Michigan that need some help. Saginaw's one of them right now, but there's places that need help everywhere. But yeah,
one of my favorite road names in Saginaw is called Tittabawassee. You get used to saying Tittabawassee pretty regularly.
When people aren't from Michigan when they try to say Charlevoix or Tittabawassee, just doesn't happen. Ed, what did we miss anything, Ed? Is there anything that we should have talked about?
We could talk about the special edition rye. I was telling you that we had 3 ryes.
Yeah.
Please share.
That's my tribute to my teammates for the Fighting Sioux. And all my coaches and all the fans that supported me at North Dakota playing for the Fighting Sioux. And it's got a beautiful, you can see it there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's the Sioux head. Now, this is probably the 3rd version of the Sioux head. It had been changed numerous times over the years. The original one that I played in was the same head that the Blackhawks have. And so it was pretty cool for me to play, in the Sioux head and then go to the Chicago Blackhawks, which was my favorite team as a little boy, and play for the Blackhawks. So the special edition rye, it's a 106 proof. It drinks really smooth. People love it, and it's my favorite rye. So if you get a chance, if you see one of those bottles in Michigan, there's not very.
Yeah, that's the green label on it. That's the green label one. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you go down a non-whiskey road with one of the spirits? You have one. Do you have one that's not a whiskey?
Right now, we just have all whiskeys.
Okay, all whiskeys. All right, fair enough.
Yeah, but when we open our distillery, we do have plans to do other spirits.
Right.
Good.
So, all right. So I'll go back to the very beginning where I said I know nothing about sports. And then, but the Hockey Hall of Fame, and because I actually working with a guy, we were talking about the city of Detroit in 1935 when the Wings and Lions and the Tigers all won their first championships. An amazing year in the city. But they were talking about some of the people that were into the Hall of Fame. It was like the Baseball Hall of Fame, but he got pulled into the Hall of Fame. He was only with Detroit, Cochran. He was only with Detroit for 2 years, but he entered the Hall of Fame as a Tiger. So when you entered the Hall of Fame, did you have to pick a team to be representing in the Hall of Fame? And which team was that and why?
Thankfully, I didn't have to choose.
Oh, okay.
They don't do that. And I don't know if they ever did do that with hockey. But I was actually worried about that because that would be the hardest thing to do. Winning the cup with the Dallas Stars and playing for, my favorite team, the Blackhawks, as a little kid, and then also getting to play for the Maple Leafs. That was my mom's favorite team, and it just would have been really difficult to choose. And I'm so thankful I didn't. I love each team equally. Had so many great memories with every place I played, and so many awesome teammates and coaches, and making new friends everywhere. Like you asked earlier, where does that social aspect come from? Well, it's being a hockey player,
right?
You meet the guys, they're all down to earth. They'll have a beer with you and drink with you, and then I love going to the Hall of Fame events because I get to meet my heroes, and
it's amazing.
Bobby Hull. I see Bobby all the time. I see Tony Esposito all the time. He was one of my favorites. Vladislav Trechek was my goalie coach in Chicago, and I see him at events. I got to share a beer with Ted Lindsay before he passed, and such an honor to sit with him and his two daughters. We spent about 2 hours talking at one of our events, and what a privilege to be able to sit down with Ted and just get a chance to get to know him a little bit.
Sure.
And I so thankful for those moments. And there's so many awesome hockey players that you get to meet, and just in awe. Like, I just sit there and I don't say a word usually.
Because you're a young dude. Well, you're like kind of my age, right? So you're a young dude to be in the Hall of Fame. Because you think Hall of Fame, you think, this antiquated thing, but it's like, it's so and we're honored to have you with us here. Appreciate you taking the time and taking a chunk of your week and your day here to hang out and talk bourbon with us. We genuinely appreciate it. And we know people are going to be talking about it in Michigan, and they're going to be enjoying it in Michigan. So yeah, thank you, Ed.
Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to having a drink with you guys when I come to Michigan for sure.
Heck yeah! So it's Belfour.
Thank you again for your legacies.
Yes,
honestly, to have two legacies to have just thank you.
So BelfourSpirits.com, and they can find out about like the new releases and the new stuff, and when you get a distillery rocking and rolling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, BelfourSpirits.com, and if you want to find out where we're selling, there's a search engine on our website. Put in your zip code, and it'll tell you where the nearest store is that the bourbon and the rye are at. We're also on Instagram and Facebook.
Thank you so much, Ed. Appreciate the time.
Thank you. And gentlemen,
cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, you bet. You guys have a great night.
All right, be well.
Thank you. You too. Bye.